Dear Lord, it has been a weird day. I mean, technically the weirdness started yesterday, but I was putting together the show, and I was like, what? I have to talk about this, because this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Did you guys know about something called Fictosexuals? Have you guys heard about this yet? I had no... look, no. Let me make something very clear. I knew that something like that existed, because, like, years ago, they were... Sadly, you knew. But, look, years ago, they were doing some kind of special in Japan, right? And apparently Japan has this really bad birth rate. It's like a crisis, and it's because a lot of people are just refusing to get married and be in relationships with weird people, or real people, you know? And then, like, now, I guess they didn't have a title for it, but, like, it was, like, these guys who would go in, and they would... the extent of romantic relationships that they would have would happen on their, like, Nintendo DS and these dating games. They would have these fake video game girlfriends, and they were like, that's all I need. That's all I need. And then, like, I learned that they have, in Japan, stuff like cuddle cafes. Like, your whole entire, like, you go in there, you buy some coffee or juice or whatever, and a girl just, like, comes up and you pay her, and she cuddles with you for a little while you just sit and talk and have coffee. It's like a whorehouse gone mild. So I knew something like that existed, and I was like, okay, you know, like, Japan's kind of weird. Straight up, there's apparently a story out, and I had to talk about it. I couldn't not. There's a story out about a man who fell in love with a 3D hologram. Like, I would say it's artificial intelligence, but let's face facts. It's just virtual intelligence. We don't have actual artificial intelligence yet. You know? Stuff that can learn all by itself. But it's... I love weird stories like this. And so does Alex Parker, my fellow writer at Red State, who covers this kind of stuff, this weirdness. Dude, I'm just... I was so excited. I was like, I gotta talk about it on the show today. What's up, everybody? What's up, Slow DK? Noob, how you doing? Sadly, you knew, Natalie. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it's not like... Okay, there's like a serious problem in Japan. Like a really serious problem. Apparently, like, they just don't want to be in relationships anymore. I don't exactly know why. There's something about the culture over there that just makes it, like really, like, complicated to be in a relationship, I guess. Maybe there's, like, a lot of expectations, and the kids are just like, nah, don't want it. Don't want the expectations. I'm gonna date a video game girlfriend. Because they're less complicated. And they're not wrong. Am I right, boys? Am I right? Haha! I think I heard about it a day ago. Yeah. What's up, Natalie? Susie, how you doing? Welcome. Welcome to the weird show. All my shows are kind of weird. Let's face facts. By the way, I put out some pretty cringe stuff on a regular basis. But y'all, this what is her name? How do you pronounce her name? It's Nina Jankowicz. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This new Ministry of Truth that Joe Biden rolled out. Did nobody read 1984? Did we just decide that we were gonna be like, all right, no, yeah, it's... Or they did read it and they took it as like a manual. What's their birth rate like? That's a good question. What is their... Here, hang on. Let's just... Japan birth rate. There's no easy fix for Japan's declining. It's been declining for years. Birth rates are sinking in Japan. This was... you know what? Let's just Wikipedia this. Oh! Total fertility rate. Look at that. In 1950... it's just like freaking... Look at it. It hits 19, like just before 1950, and it just goes. Dude, that is sad. It's because we dropped the bomb on them, didn't it? We dropped the bomb, and now they don't want to have kids. Once you see an atomic bomb blast, you gotta think, maybe bringing children into this isn't a good idea. This is nuts. Wait, is this, how can the population goes up but birth rates are declining? Are people just moving to Japan? Are people just, wait. Japan was the world's 11th most populous country as of 2017. The total population has declined 0.8% from the time the census 5 years previously, the first time it declined since 1945. Since 2010, Japan has experienced net population loss due to falling birth rates and minimal immigration. Minimal immigration. Despite having one of the highest life expectancies in the world at 85 years. Good. Do I need to move to Japan? Using the annual estimate for October of each year, the population peaked in 2008 at 128 million and had fallen by 2.9 million by October 21. Dang! So, that's sad. That's sad. Japan is such a cool country. Or at least a lot of the stuff they make is really cool. They're very unique. I mean, I feel bad for them. But they're like, something's up over there. Because they're definitely going out there and wanting to rather than go into a relationship with a person, they would much rather just have a relationship with like a computer generated girl. They're birthing all the weird stuff. Does this count? I mean, they are birthing some really great stuff over there as far as cultural significance goes. Look, you watch Attack on Titan and tell me that this country is a failure. Okay, it's not. Okay, you look at how well they're selling manga versus how well America is doing its thing, and you tell me who's winning right now, because it ain't America, at least culturally. We'll say that. Culturally, America is definitely losing the fight against Japan. Japan has it's so much better. So much better. Like, everything that they create right now is so much more interesting. Seriously, Attack on Titan is probably my favorite show right now. And I'm not saying that America hasn't produced some really great stuff in recent history. They have. But, like, the moment you go, hey, there's this really cool story happening right now about an army goes back in time, a modern army goes back in time and is confronted with ancient armies, and they have to put up, what would happen if they clashed? I'd be like, that sounds like a Japanese premise. Because America would probably not come up with something that cool nowadays. By the way, I didn't read 1984, but I know it was a warning. It was a warning. Yeah, we're going to get to that. Madly in Love. By the way, everything I'm about to talk about is up at redstate.com right now. Go to redstate.com right now to check it out. And also like the stream if you haven't already. It really helps me out. Madly in Love man marries a hologram, but their tale turns terminal as the service provider pulls the... This is a story of love and loss. It's so sad. With marriage comes conflict, especially if your spouse actually exists. It's true. It's true. Married man can confirm. But even if they don't, you can't get the rose without the thorns. Take, for instance, the case of 38-year-old Akihiko Kondo. The Japanese man is a fictosexual, someone who's mostly attracted to fictional characters. I already feel so bad for this guy. Hence, as reported by the international outlet Mainichi, in 2018, Akihiko married computer-generated pop star Hatsune Miku. He spent 2 million yen, about 17,300, on the wedding. Good God. That's a lot. That's a lot. Dude, that makes no sense to me. Why would you spend that much on a wedding when the girl that you're marrying is not going to care? At all. The happy pair had dated for a decade. It's just a waste of cash. Like you would have. This is a 3D virtual intelligence. Why couldn't he just virtually do a virtual wedding? Saved himself some cash. The happy pair had dated for a decade, and it was a little bit Elvis and Priscilla. Turquoise-haired Hatsune was and is only 16 years old. Okay, so he's not. This just gets worse and worse. Fast forward to Akihiko being all shook up. Oh. He and his spouse have recently become disconnected. No. In a typical tale in the beginning, love was electric. Well played. Well played. Akihiko used a service which projected Hatsune's 3D hologram into a cylinder. Thanks to her artificial intelligence, conversation kindled chemistry that was downright scientific. When he proposed, she replied, "I hope you'll cherish me." But now the electronic hotness for which he once longed has incurred a bit of a short. This poor guy. Even now, when he wakes up, Akihiko says good morning to Miku and see you later when he goes out. He dines facing her, and when he is on his computer, she is placed behind him, watching him. What has changed for Akihiko since his wedding ceremony is that he can no longer enjoy conversations with the character, as the company that developed the service terminated it in March 2020, saying the limited production model has run its course. But Akihiko maintains, "My love for Miku hasn't changed. I held the wedding ceremony because I thought I could live with her forever." Oh, this poor guy. This poor guy. Indeed, she completed him. Akihiko graduated from a vocational school and later worked as a clerk at public elementary and junior high schools. But 4 years after he began his job, he was bullied. When he talked to 2 female colleagues, they would call him gross and would not have anything to do with him. The treatment left him depressed, and he even became unable to eat. A doctor diagnosed him as having an adjustment disorder, and he was forced to take time off work. Good God. A change came after. This guy's life is just sad. This is a sad life. I was prepared to read this article and laugh a little bit, but now I'm just depressed. A change came after he discovered Hatsune Miku. He was captivated by the Vocaloid character's singing voice. "I stayed in my room for 24 hours a day and watched videos of Miku the whole time," he recalled. He listened to Miku's song like lullabies and was able to sleep well. With his mental support, it became possible for him to go out again, and he was able to return to work. To sum it up, Akihiko took a leave of absence, became absorbed in Miku, and emerged from social withdrawal. Oh, she helped him. The 16-year-old virtual 39 friends celebrated the couple when they wed. He's got 39 friends. I've got maybe 3. He's more popular than I am. Though he shelled out spectacularly for the ceremony, I'm guessing the honeymoon was more of a do-it-to-yourselfer. That's actually a really good question. Did he consider the You know what? I'm not going to go down that road. I'm not going to take you guys on that journey with me. I'm just going to let that rest in my head by itself. So goes digital love. Either way, these days, fictosexual Akihiko in crowded company. Rolling Stone recently ran, "When do I get to see Mr. Wolf's penis? Why some furries are losing it for the bad guys." The article eyed Universal's animated film and its frisky fans. What? We're living in an era of equity, of social deconstruction. Love is love and lived experience is one truth. Some people are men, some women, and otherwise. And as the possibilities broaden, romance becomes an ever wider umbrella. And yet, even when coupling with a come hither hologram into every life, a little rain must fall. Of course, Akihiko Kondo and others of his ilk are endeavoring in something undoubtedly unusual, and some might wonder what awful example could possibly convince anyone to avoid marriage with a real human being. Okay. Do you guys maybe think that Japan is just a little bit ahead of the curve when it comes to relationships? Because here in America, we're starting to do the exact same thing. And Alex kind of brings up the point of Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp at the very end, and I don't necessarily disagree with the assessment. Because I've written about this several times. Men are leaving the dating pool. It's called the sexodus. Like, they're not They don't want anything to do with women because women in America have become, and I'm not saying all of you ladies, many of you are absolutely wonderful and you are loved and cherished, and you are what the Bible refers to as better, what was it, greater than gold, or worth more than gems. You're worth more than precious gemstones. Okay, not every single woman here is what I'm talking about, but modern American women have become pretty unattractive, and I don't mean physically. I just mean like in a way of being like hard to deal with. Like the shallowness has really kind of infected a lot of women. It's been really bad for the men who are looking for a traditional woman, and that's okay. Men should want traditional women. It's fine. You know, I'm not saying that every woman has to get in the kitchen and be barefoot and pregnant constantly and handing the man beers and cooking his dinner. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, you know, many modern women just, they kind of take that ultra feminist route of, I don't have to do none of this, and my man should appreciate me just for being alive. Men aren't tolerating that anymore, and so they're departing the dating pool. They're not into it anymore. They're leaving, and our marriage rates are declining. And I recently read that we're set to actually have a population decline for the first time in a long time. So what if Akihiko here isn't weird? He's just before his time. Because I have a feeling that Americans are going to start really coming out as fictosexuals as well. And do you see? I've seen these videos of like these prosthetic women, and like they're starting to add like AI machinery into them. So what happens when you have a situation kind of like Blade Runner, and these women are indistinguishable from real women? These synthetic women are indistinguishable from real women, at least in a lot of ways that count. Let's say that. Only these women stick to like traditional values. Do we think that like these men are just going to start being like, well, I think that it's probably less expensive to get a robot bride, because they're not going to get sick. Maybe every now and again they have to fix them or update their firmware or something. But like, you know, I if ever I just need like to decompress, or I can turn her off. I can't. What if that's the future we're heading to? Isn't that scary to think about? What's up, Brandon? 16, it gets even creepier. Does Japan not have the whole 16-year-old, like they don't consider pedophilia what we consider wait, it's not called pedophilia if it's like 16. It's there's a different word for it, because pedophilia is like children, and then there's teenagers that aren't legal, and that's called something else, and I can't remember what it is. So he's Krieger from Archer. Yes, he's Krieger from Archer. That's exactly who he is. He's Krieger. 36 of them are probably light tubes. Half of the attendance was her family. That's so sad. He's avoiding real marriage because marrying a 16-year-old is illegal. I'd honestly rather give that creepo a hologram and keep him inside away from real 16-year-olds. I don't know. I bet it sounds like this guy wouldn't have the guts to actually speak to a real 16-year-old. But 16-year-olds, watch out. Just, you know, avoid his neighborhood if you can. I think from experience, the idea of being in love with someone is highly appealing still. However, when you consider what can go wrong, how costly that can be, the appeal loses some luster. I mean, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are perfect proof of this. And Johnny Depp is everything. Did y'all hear? Yeah, this is it. This is the clip.
I lost a fucking finger, man. Come on.
Excuse the language.
I had a mineral can of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too. domestic violence, and
Yes.
I know it's a fair fight. It sees how many people believe or side with you.
It doesn't matter if fair fight.
Bro. You see what I'm saying? Like that conversation that was just recorded that they had is 100% a conversation that has been had many times before, and not just not just like from Johnny Depp's angle, like, hang on, I gotta fix this. Fixing this live on air. Look, that's better. So I could see why a lot of men would want to jump out. I could see. And I could see why someone like this guy, Akihiko, he would probably want to jump out of the dating pool completely. And it seems like he's not alone, because this thing has been happening for some time in Japan. And I think it's starting to happen here in the United States, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure we're going to see men who would much rather be in relationships with virtual women than actual women. It's sad. It's sad. And AI women will take over the world after that. Did I ever tell you guys my theory about how if like AI were to actually go to war with humans or want to wipe out humans, they would not take the Terminator route? Because why would you? Why would you destroy all of this infrastructure? Why would you destroy all of this like production value and stuff that the humans have created? You could just take it over yourself. So if you were an AI and you really wanted to wipe out the human population, you would have to do it slowly. But here's how you would do it. You would basically just stop birth rates. And you would stop birth rates by seducing men and women and making them fall in love with your robots, your robot relationship bots, if you will, which serve every need. Like, they could study you psychologically and know every single need you have, make you fall in love with these things. Then the birth rates would decline so fast because no one's in a relationship with real people anymore. And the only ones who are left are the machines after a time, or at least they greatly outnumber the human population, when it has declined greatly. So yes, if you were to ask me how the AI would actually go to war with us and conquer the world, I'm pretty sure that AIs would just sex us to death. That's literally, I think that would probably be the cleanest way to go about doing it. That's my theory. Right about that, James Cameron. And thus why I'm never getting married. See what I'm saying? John is one of those guys. Demonstration of getting it very wrong. Quitting time isn't coming fast enough. I hear that. Can we talk about this real fast? I've got to talk about this. Biden's new Ministry of Truth director turns out to be a raving lunatic. This woman, Nina Jankowicz. Okay, first off, let's back up. No, let's back up for a second. Hey, can you... I have to deal with this all day. This is... Can I work for a second? Do you mind if Daddy works? He's trying to work. Okay, here. Go play with your brother. First off, Ministry of Truth. Who thought that this was a good idea? Who read 1984 and goes, you know what? That sounds like a really great name for a government organization. Let's do this, said Democrats. I swear to you, they're 100% into just shooting themselves in the foot right now. They want people to hate them. It's almost it's so blatant that I almost think it's a conspiracy theory worthy of talking about. I don't know what's happening right now, but they are taking L after L after L, and they are doing it to themselves. And this whole Ministry of Truth thing is 110% one of those moments. Like, who thought that this was a good idea? Deal with this equals adorable puppy. You poor man. I feel so bad for her. She's like been so clingy lately ever since she had her surgery. I woke up this morning in Gizmo. I was laying down on my pillow, mine and my own, and I just feel Gizmo kind of walk over, and she just lays down and puts her head on my head right there and just falls asleep, starts snoring. It's the cutest thing in the world, and I feel horrible. But you know, a man's got to work. Leader of the free 50 flavors of ice cream and pudding. A good Baskin Robbins representative. That should have been the job he had. Joe Biden should be able to retire and just push ice cream. That should be his entire job. I feel horrible that the dude is being used as leader of the free world. He should be out there eating and selling ice cream and just relaxing as a man who has done a lot of really bad work during his political career. He doesn't even know where he is now. He hardly remembers who he is. Let him sell ice cream. Let the man eat ice cream in peace. No one should bother him about anything. And this is also, by the way, proof to me that Joe Biden is not in charge. And I'm not saying that Joe Biden wouldn't approve something like a Ministry of Truth. I'm just saying that if you're a president and you want your Democrat people to get elected and you want to get reelected in the future, the last thing you do is reach into 1984, a George Orwell novel, and pull something right out of it. It seems like a really bad idea, but they just keep going forward with these really bad ideas. It makes no sense. These are all the wrong moves, and they keep making them without shame. Your wake-up picture on Twitter was adorable. That's what I was talking about. There's a picture I put up on Twitter, and it's that. That's what I woke up to. I don't say this lightly. I'm Jug Bidet, coming to you for adult diapers and Baskin Robbins. Not necessarily in that order. That's the story this morning after others have begun to dip through Nina Jankowicz's past social media posts. So she has been... she got announced as this... oh, God. She got announced as the new secretary of this Orwellian branch of our government. I should say institution within our government. And so people started going over her past. And it is honestly some of the most cringe stuff I have ever seen in my entire life. This is her. Anyway, long story short, I think we as a country might be too free-spirited, to put it diplomatically, to comply with social distancing recommendations unless they're forced upon us. So force away. Lock us down. People are not taking this seriously. This is the lady who is now the Ministry of Truth head. She's apparently a complete lunatic too. Let's see. Let's check out some of these. I went for a hike today and it has turned me into a lockdown evangelist. I left home early, planned to stay at least 6 feet from other humans, and for about 75% of the trail managed to do just that until all the late risers made it to the park. Here's what I saw. What else? Oh no, anti-lockdown protests now spreading to UK. Poster below tries to get around AI detection by spacing out, quote, freedom movement, adding photos with the event detail to an album rather than creating separate... What is this lady? I hope all those who want to get out of lockdown and get their freedom back, who doubted Russia's intentions or thought the Mueller investigation was a hoax, now understand the seriousness of cyber attacks and information operations. Y'all. Imagine all the deaths that could have been avoided if they had done the same with mask wearing in March and April. This lady is crazy. She is straight up insane. Like this, you know who she reminds me of? And I actually tweeted this out, and I think it's pretty poignant. I'm just gonna let the picture speak for itself. Oop. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this one out there. Somebody show me the difference. Somebody tell me what's different between these two. This is that Office meme right here. Corporate wants you to identify the differences between the two pictures. They're the same picture. They're the same people. Even down to the smirk. It's so bad. By the way, smirking is wrong. I thought we established that. Did she have to smirk in her photo? Like, if your job is to tackle misinformation, quote unquote, and they put you in charge of a ministry of truth in the government, don't smirk in your photo. It's just going to make people hate you even more, and rightly so. Meet the head of Biden's Ministry of Truth, Nina Jankowicz.
Information laundering is really quite
No.
ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide
Stop.
a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. When Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine, or when TikTok influencers say COVID can cause pain, they're laundering disinfo, and we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice, or vote. Oh!
This is the point of the show. We're going to say we're kidding, we're making all of this up. It's not really happening in the country you were born in, but it is happening. That's now a law enforcement official.
I don't know what to say. I'm honestly, I am at a loss. This is nuts. Nina needs to move to a less free-spirited country then. Perhaps she could try the Middle East or Russia. She belongs. Like, the weird thing to me, though, is like she apparently also thinks that you are children. Like, what would possess someone, a government official, to make this and think that like grown people like us would be like, oh,
Ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So
I want to be on this lady's side. What was the thought here? What was the thought? Why would she do this? It's so cringe. Don't get me wrong. I've put out some pretty cringe stuff in my time, but this is a little much. And I've been seeing like weird stuff this entire time from people posting other things. Here's the thing. I don't mind that she's really good, or like I'm really good. I don't mind that she's a theater kid. Okay? I don't mind that she's a theater kid. I'm a theater kid. All right? I'm just going to straight up admit it. I love Broadway. I do. I love Broadway. Hey, let's see if I can't find this. How do you pronounce it? It's Nina Jankowicz. Like, I've seen pictures of her like singing and stuff in club, or like in, I want to say like in restaurants or bars or gatherings and stuff. And I actually don't think she's bad. I think she's actually pretty good at what she does in terms of talent-wise.
Solutions have nothing to do with race. The term was coined in the early 2000s when countries like the Republic of Georgia and Ukraine had spontaneous, peaceful, democratic revolutions that had colorful nicknames. In 2003, the Georgian opposition protested the opening of a new session of parliament based on fraudulent election results. They did it while carrying roses, hence the Rose Revolution. In 2004 and 2005, Ukrainians protested their own rigged election. Candidate Viktor Yushchenko's campaign branding was orange, hence the Orange Revolution. You get the idea. Color revolutions have earned a bad rap, though, mostly thanks to Vladimir Putin, because they brought in democratically minded governments that threatened Russian influence in the region.
So the Rose thing, wait, isn't that like
Putin
an
likes to
Antifa?
suggest they are CIA organized. That is not true. Believe it or not, sometimes people get fed up with having their voices silenced for decades. Putin's narratives intentionally rob protesters of agency. They discount the grievances that brought them to the streets, risking their lives, and ultimately, they undermine the resulting governments. And now we're seeing the same narrative cropping up here in the United States. Here's why it doesn't fit. First of all, in case we've forgotten, protest is a democratic right. You are entitled to it no matter your opinion. Second of all, color revolutions happen in autocracies, when people are fed up with the indignities of an entrenched regime. While we have witnessed some democratic backsliding here in the United States, we are not an autocracy.
So she's here promoting, and I mean, like, I should say backing Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Basically giving them a pass for what they're doing and being like, yay, revolutionaries. But she's making them seem noble and moral. Like, this woman is flat out insane. No one should be applauding. What book is she holding up? No. Here's my recommendation to everybody. Don't make fun of her because of her little Broadway performances that happened outside of politics. That whole Mary Poppins thing, one of the cringiest things I've ever seen. It's childish, and to be honest with you, like, I would be insulted if I was Democrats who she's trying to talk to, or maybe it's just the American people in general, but why would you create something like that and then try to show it to grown adults and think that somehow this would be convincing to them? It makes no sense to me. Does she look at us as children? Does she look at us as you know, people who are just easily entertained and convinced? I don't understand. And I realize she has a theater background. Good for her. I have a theater background. I love theater. I love Broadway. Okay, I really do. So I don't think she's bad because of that. And I see a lot of people are like making fun of her because of stuff that she's done outside of politics, and she's singing and stuff like I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't make fun of her for that, to be honest with you, because I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of fun to be had there, and people they love theater. They want to have fun. And making fun of her for singing is probably not the smart move from the right. But damn, if she starts singing to you Broadway style and trying to convince you of her political side at the same time, then yeah, that's cringe. That's super cringe. That's propaganda dressed up as something fun, and I hate that stuff. I hate that so much. I'm about to talk about that even more here in a second. Another sad waste of vocal talent. Yeah. Great voice, no brains. She does sound really good when she's singing. I suspect those were her lyrics. Those were absolutely her lyrics. People get fed up with their voices being suppressed. Twitter. Elon Musk is he's kind of a revolutionary all on his own, isn't he? Chrissy Mayer pretending to be Frosk. I talked to you as if you were... Oh, speaking of Frosk. I'm glad you brought her up. G4 sees massive loss of viewers in months following Frosk's infamous rant. So, those of you who don't remember, we talked about this previously. Frosk goes... Who is a... I don't know, is she still on G4? I think she's still on G4, right? I don't really watch the channel anymore. And I hate that. I really hate that it failed. I hate that it failed as a concept. I really do, because I miss G4 TV as it used to be. I really do. Anyway, it was doing, from what I can understand, it was doing just fine. You know, as well as it could be. It was just starting out, it was finding its legs, and then Frosk comes in and goes on this feminist rant where all the other G4 TV hosts are like, yeah, Frosk, go! You know. insulting a lot of people. And she said at the very end, if you don't like this, don't watch. So many G4 viewers and gamers said, okay, bye. And now you want to talk about Get Woke, Go Broke. This is one of the most perfect examples of Get Woke, Go Broke. This has been from Bounding into Comics, by the way. I love Bounding into Comics. According to public view counts, G4's various content offerings have seen a massive loss of viewers in the months following X-Play host Indiana Frost Black's on-air rant against sexism in gaming and the network's subsequent endorsement of her opinion. The topic of G4's Frost fallout was revisited on April 26th when independent video game journalist Brad Glasgow, ostensibly out of curiosity, sought to check in on the network's overall health. Meanwhile, said Glasgow on Twitter, G4TV doesn't seem to be doing very well. X-Play is average around 16K viewers. That is sad. Meanwhile, G4TV doesn't... Yeah, this is nuts. If you look at the channel's views before the infamous Frost video, not counting that video's numbers, they were averaging around 40,000 views. So that's more than half their audience just decided to take up Frost's advice and disappear. Sure enough, the numbers don't lie. As both previously reported by Bounding into Comics and noted by Glasgow above, prior to Frost's declaration that male viewers who didn't appreciate the being blanket attacked, if you don't like it, don't watch it, videos on the core G4 channel pulled in anywhere between 15,000 to 75,000 views, with content focusing on host personalities doing significantly less than reviews of well-known game titles. For example, a Death Stranding review uploaded on January 12th, just hours prior to Frost's rant, managed to pique the interest of at least 70,000 viewers, while a retro review of Batman Arkham Knight published 2 months earlier at 79. So even like older games they were reviewing were getting at least 70 to 80. Now they can't get 16. Through the network, though the network was able to retain their average view counts for roughly 2 weeks, a retro review of Mass Effect Andromeda published after Frost's outburst holds a current view count of 72,000, and a January 25th discussion of Fortnite sits with 31,000. It seems this was only a temporary stopgap. In February, G4's 3 best-performing videos, reviews of Sifu, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Horizon Forbidden West, respectively, managed roughly 40,000 views each, with each other upload averaging an approximately 20. Good God, this is a crash. This is a Get Woke, Go Broke example. This needs to be put in like the book of examples. Chapter 1, simultaneous. Well, you know what? Right under Cowboy Bebop only being like getting canceled after only 3 weeks. Simultaneous with the reshuffling of the various YouTube channels, this decline continued into March, wherein the channel's views further decreased, with most videos averaging around 15,000 to 20,000 views in the month's breakout uploads. This time, reviews of Gran Turismo 7, a GoldenEye 007 retrospective, and a first impression of Elden Ring eventually plateaued at 27,000. We are Red State is a very small YouTube channel right now. Very small at the moment, right? And I think that our most popular video right now is, let's take a look. Let's take a look-see. $24,000. We have 1.3 thousand subscribers. Our top video is 24,000. Our top video beats the average for G4. That's sad. And we're a tiny channel. Gosh, this is what happens though. This is the Get Woke, Go Broke. One of the greatest examples of Get Woke, Go Broke. Keep in mind, okay, for those of you who didn't see it, and we actually have the video up at YouTube right now where I kind of go over what Frost said. Frost told viewers, G4TV viewers, who were doing nothing wrong, that they are sexist because she saw a few comments in the chat about how previous G4TV hosts were hotter. And she decided to go on this rant about sexism in gaming and blanket blamed the gaming community for being horrible to women and just talked down to them to the point where people just did not want to tune in anymore. And she actually encouraged them not to. And here's the funny thing. Here's one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up. Not just to show you guys how bad you can screw up as a channel for going woke, or like even as an entertainment company for going woke. Because, I mean, you've got examples everywhere. I wanted to show you guys the hypocrisy of these woke culture idiots. Because here's Frosk. G4TV host Frost debases herself, claims she will drink Megan Fox's blood from any end. This is the same woman who literally said into a camera at viewers that women are not here to be easy on the eyes for you. Her exact words. She was screaming at these people for objectifying women, and yet here she is sending out this tweet, "I'll drink your blood from any end." Is Megan Fox there to be easy on the eyes for Frosk? They're such hypocrites. And for those of you who aren't understanding what she's referring to, so Megan Fox, she did this thing with Glamour. She did an interview, and I think Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly are just like desperate right now for attention, and their relationship is an attention getter. They're like the new Brangelina at the moment. Okay, a little strange. This couple is a little strange, but I think they're being strange on purpose. And during this interview, here, just watch it yourself.
I wasn't allowed to be a human. I was a topic of conversation and gossip and punchlines. It's just a few drops, but yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes. I know I can't.
It's such, that's, you know what, do I think that they actually do that? I'm having trouble saying that they do. I don't know if they do. I think that they're saying that just for, like, she later goes on and says something along the lines of, like, Machine Gun Kelly is the kind of guy who will just, like, rip his chest open and bleed all over her. And I'm like, that's nonsense. I'm pretty sure she's just saying that for attention. That's all it really boils down to. She's just trying to get attention. Anti-energy, anti-Semitic, anti-Christian, lying gaslighters. Pretty much. Let's go, Frosk! I love AZ's reply. Megan Fox is not there to be easy on the eyes for you. Because, this is Frosk being a massive, massive hypocrite. And a gross one to boot. This is absolute dog water from her. Like, it's the fact that she just yelled at a bunch of people and then decides to just take it, like, to yell at them for being sexist and then turn around and then she's being she's objectifying women herself. And then told everyone not to watch G4 if they don't like the fact that she doesn't like the fact that they're objectifying women. Dude, these people, these social justice warrior, the woke culture idiots, they don't even, they are so hypocritical. They come out and they yell at everyone else. They point at you and they say that you're guilty of all these societal sins. But the moment that they turn, they'll do it themselves in a heartbeat. And it's really interesting to me that, especially as you cruise more to the radical left, you know, they will accuse you of something that is awful, but then, like, they are themselves very super guilty of it. The moment that there's a campaign or some sort of crusade that a leftist goes on, the moment I go, you're guilty of it yourself. I would like to see your search history, sir, or madam, or person of unspecified gender, whatever you want to call yourself. I would like to see your internet search history. I would like to speak to people who are around you constantly and get the real picture of who you are. Because the more you virtue signal, the more I think that you're guilty of not having that virtue. And here we have it right here. G4TV collapsed because of this woman who told everybody that they were sexist and they were objectifying women and that women aren't here to be easy on the eyes for you. And here she is telling Megan Fox that she'll drink blood out of any whatever. It doesn't matter where. Hypocrites. Hypocrites. All of you woke culture idiots, you're hypocrites. I haven't met one who is actually principled. Not one. They like to say they're principled. They like to signal all these virtues and tell you how moral they are compared to you middle American backwood yokel not... MGK is not even that good of a musician. I think that there are some relationships out there that are they're just for show. I don't know if they actually truly love each other. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. I just don't see it. It's kind of like Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson. I don't get it. Someone has to explain it to me. This was brought to my attention, and I had to write an article about it. An angry Chip Roy makes Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas very aware of his failure at the border. Red sent this to me, and I got to tell you, it is... You don't know how bad it is at the border right now until you really see some evidence, like visual evidence. And he provides it, this guy, Chip Roy. He's from Texas. And he was at a judiciary hearing, a House Judiciary Committee hearing. And he was talking to Secretary Mayorkas, Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas. And this guy let him have it. They tried to stop him and he wouldn't stop. This is so good. We're just going to watch this.
Talk about the damage being done to the United States of America. Mr. Secretary, do you know what this is? This is a mobile morgue, a body trailer, needed by counties in South Texas overwhelmed by dead migrants. That particular trailer is filled with these bodies, 27 bodies that were stored in this mobile morgue in South Texas with...
That is so crazy. 27 dead migrants. This is what happens when you have open borders. Like, people die. They think it's all just like sunshine and rainbows and people are coming across the border like, hey, I can just come into the US and live this happy-go-lucky life. That's not the way it is. There's so much crap going on in that border crossing. Because a lot of it, there's a lot of crime involved with it. And he's actually going to go into it here in a second. And I'll talk more about it after he's done.
Dead bodies of migrants. Dead bodies like this one found on a ranch just 3 weeks ago in South Texas. A dead migrant. Somehow that's compassion. How about the dead bodies found by migrants? Compassion. How about the ranchers who had to walk out of their door, and this is what they faced. Gentlemen with rocks threatening a rancher in South Texas, only able to be saved when they are able to bring their dogs out to scare the people away in order to save themselves. Or the fact that you've got houses being attacked, you've got livestock dead on the side because we've got ranches wide open. How about the little girl here with a brand on her arm? A little girl...
Who the hell does that? Who the absolute hell does that? That is nasty. They branded these girls. Is it because they're getting sold into sex? I would imagine it's sex slavery. They do that for people coming in, are trying to be sold into sex slavery.
With a brand on her arm because of your policies. A little girl here in the desert found by ranchers trying to save their life. And how about the lost voices for people dying from fentanyl? The tens of thousands of Americans dying from fentanyl. Faces of Americans across this country dying because of fentanyl pouring into our country.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
You know full well.
Time of
Don't
the
stop,
gentleman
Roy.
has expired, Ms.
Encouraging people to come here, harming Texas and harming this country. You know it.
Bro. And this is amidst the government trying to revoke Title 42, which allows Border Patrol to turn away migrants at the border, or if they're found, deport them back to across the border. This is a sad state of affairs that we have going on at the border, and people don't realize how bad it is. Under Trump, we had a pretty damn good border. It wasn't perfect, but it was way better than this. The crime was actually kept down to a minimum. Drug and sex trafficking was some of the lowest it's ever been. Now, we have what is effectively Democrats attempting to push open borders. They're trying to stop, and have been trying to stop, border security from doing their jobs. They've been actually attacking border security because, like, there was that story about this horse-backed border agent who was apparently hitting people with ropes, and he wasn't. He wasn't at all. You can actually see from the picture that he wasn't doing it. But regardless, the Biden administration decided to go along with that narrative and told these border security agents that they would be in big trouble if they did their jobs effectively, and that they would be fired. And Greg Abbott of Texas, the governor of Texas, was like, if you get fired, come to Texas, we'll hire you. You can be a border patrol agent for us. Because Texas right now is trying to protect its border and trying to stop all this from happening. Joe Biden and his administration is suing Greg Abbott for it. And people don't understand all the trouble that comes with open borders. Drug trafficking is out of control. Just as I said, the fentanyl problem is out of control. People are getting addicted and dying from it, from all the fentanyl that's coming across the southern border and infecting our communities. And then their sex trafficking is off the charts bad right now. And I got to say that the branding of the little girls, that kind of sounds to me exactly what's happening. And Brandon, it gets worse than you think it does even there. And that's pretty bad already. But Brandon Darby, not too long ago, no, it wasn't too long ago. It was actually back in 2016. Went down to the border himself to follow around border agents. And there is horrific things that happen to women. Horrific. These people are paid to take them across the border, them and their kids. Kids end up getting sold into sex slavery. Women are raped left and right. It's not uncommon. And then, as you can see, these people, I mean, I've heard stories of ranchers who come across these kids that are just abandoned out there. These coyotes, they get paid to take them across the river. They get them there, and then they abandon them. They take the money and they abandon them. And I remember one of these things, I think one of these girls was like suffering from hypothermia. One was like a baby, and it was naked. And there was one girl like just trying to save their lives. They got taken in by this kind rancher. A lot of people didn't understand why we separated families at the border, and that's exactly why. Because we didn't know if they were actually there with their parents, or if these were just coyotes that would drop them off at some gangster's house and have them sold into sex slavery or made into a soldier. Like, this is the kind of stuff that happens when you have open borders. But this isn't the thing that Democrats even want to address right now. In fact, they are trying to actively promote it. They're trying to stop people who are trying to stop this unfettered migration. They're trying to put them in legal trouble. They're trying to make sure that these people cannot do their jobs. They're punishing them if they do their jobs. That's what's happening at the border right now. And it's sad. You know what else is sad is the fact that the media is not talking about it. Media is not addressing it. This is a massive, massive problem. Media is not really talking about it too much. They're talking about it right now, probably a little bit because of the Title 42 fight. But I mean, like, how do you watch a rant like Chip Roy's, right, and not go, oh my God, the stuff happening down there is dangerous chaos? How do you see that and not think, man, we got to do something? I'm sure there are a lot of people. Again, as I said at the beginning of this stream, the Democrats are doing things that make absolutely no sense. and are so damaging to their party. It's like they're trying to shoot themselves in the foot. It's like they're trying to do things that will stop them from getting elected. It seems so over the top sometimes what they're doing. And you would think that, I swear there's got to be some sort of legal avenue we can take to sue the Biden administration because they are abandoning one of their primary duties, which is to protect our border. They're abandoning it. They don't want to do anything about it. They're just letting people swarm in, and they try to paint them as, all of them, as these like put upon migrants and, you know, these children and all these families looking for a better life and trying to escape. Yeah, but a lot of these people are not that. They're men who come across the border and they're here to do crime. Like Trump said, they're not sending their best. And he wasn't wrong. Yes, there probably are just innocent families looking for a better life. But you know what? There are a lot of really bad guys coming across the border too. And they are hurting everyone around them. Imagine being a rancher on Texas land right now and you don't feel safe going out on your property unless you've got dogs and some guns. Because the couple dudes might just roll up on you, beat you up, take your stuff, who knows what. They might be invading your property. They might try to break into your home. You got to be on alert all the time, but you shouldn't have to be because the federal government should be doing their job, but they're not. In fact, they're actively trying to stop border agents from doing their job. This is the Biden administration. And I guarantee you, if you were to wheel people down, like just random people, like take some Democrats, take some Democrat voters down to the border right now and show them what's going on. Do you think that they would still vote Democrat? Because I don't. If you would show them the horrible things that are happening at the border, and I mean horrible things that are happening at the border, do you think that they would still support Biden's migration policies? I don't. Because if you do, you're either super brainwashed or you're just a horrible person. Awful. And the amount of dead that are piling up, as Chip Roy just showed you, is probably a lot more astronomical than one truck with 26 bodies in it. Sad. How dare you attempt to follow the laws? It's sad to think about, dude. It's sad. This is the Biden administration. It's what they do. Marjorie Taylor Greene leaves Jim Acosta stammering after he confronts her with a false narrative. This was handed to me too. And Bonchi wrote about it. He ended up writing about it, which good. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she is one of the most attacked people on the right. There is something about her that just really pisses off the left. She is like Elon Musk levels of angry. You know what I'm saying? I think if you took 10 liberals to the border, 5 of them would still vote Dem on the basis that they'll find some imaginary reason that it was Trump's fault. Again, you'd have to be very brainwashed to see it and still go, I support Biden's policies for the border. You would have to be very brainwashed for that. And I do not think that anybody with half a brain, with 2 brain cells to rub together, would be able to come across a scene like the one that rancher did with those children who were basically freezing and alone, watching babies get dropped over a fence as the coyotes that were paid to take them across the border run away, to see these areas where women had clearly been raped, and see that and go, yeah, I still support Biden's policies for the border. You would have to be a horrible person or incredibly brainwashed, or both. Sad. In any case, this was a really fun thing to watch. No matter what you feel. Okay, look, if you don't like Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's fine. That's fine. Some people don't. But on a list of people I dislike, Acosta's pretty high up there, and he should be for you too. because Acosta is a bad guy. This guy is the one who was trying to constantly not report the news. He was trying to be the news during the Trump administration. Anytime that he got the microphone at the White House press conferences, this dude would make it all about him. And he would ask these gotcha questions that really, they were a waste of time. Because the American people rely on the press to go into these press conferences, these press areas and stuff like that, and ask questions that the American people want to hear. And Jim Acosta and CNN in general were very bad at going in there and asking questions that the American people wanted to hear. What they were more interested in was trying to back Trump into a corner and then make him look like a complete douchebag, which only served to make Jim Acosta look like a complete douchebag. And to be sure, he is. But here he is. He's found a new target. Okay? Trump, now that Trump's gone, Jim Acosta was a lonely man for a while. He was kind of directionless. He didn't know what to do or where to go. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene comes along, and now Jim Acosta, he's like, I'm back. I'm back, baby. I got myself a new target, someone I can hate, someone that I can stalk and report unfairly on. And he chose the wrong person, because Marjorie Taylor Greene straight up serves him a verbal butt whooping.
I guess you also said you didn't recall calling Nancy Pelosi a traitor. Is that right?
Jim,
you don't seem to recall a whole lot.
Well,
What's going on there?
Jim, you have a show, and in all fairness, you try to present this image of me to your viewers, and it's just really not correct.
Well, we're just trying to get some answers. Did you send a text asking for the president to declare martial law? Did you do that?
I don't recall those being my text messages, but have you read the text message that you're referring to?
I did.
Because it actually says if you...
It was misspelled, but it seemed to say that you were calling for martial law.
What? It was misspelled. Dude, who cares? It had a typo in it. Oh, well. Why does that matter? He's just trying to make her look like an idiot. That's all he's trying to do. He's trying to take cheap pot shots at her right now.
If you read it correctly, Jim,
and claim that he's being professional.
Again right now, it says, I do not know on those things. That's what that text message
sexual propaganda.
Says, let me ask you this. Why don't you be honest?
Why even bring it up? Why even bring up martial law?
No, your problem is you're just one of those liars on television. And people hate it. They can't stand the liars on television.
I'm not the one saying I don't recall, I don't recall, I don't recall.
Quote the supposed text message. Quote it. What does it say? I don't know on those things.
If you want to hang on, let's
read it out loud.
Let's read it. Okay,
why don't you be honest for once?
Let's take a look.
Read it out loud.
Let's take a look. I mean, my question is
read it
why
out loud.
even...
What does it actually say?
Okay.
What is the text message? Read the whole thing.
Let's look at it. Okay.
Yeah, let's read it.
But you're saying you don't recall it.
I don't know if that's my text message
Just read the text
but
message,
if you want to talk about a text message, read the text message. Do something real.
Let's take a look.
Okay, read the exact text message that you're talking about.
I'll read it. Let's take a look here.
Oh, we got an article. Why don't you find the actual text message?
Let's see here. Let's see. In our private chat with only members, several are saying the only way to save our republic is for Trump to call for martial law. Martial was not spelled.
Keep going.
See, Marshall was misspelled. So what, dude? You know what she's trying to say. You're picking up what she's putting down. You're trying to just do this to take little cheap pot shots.
The text message.
I don't know on those things. I just wanted you to tell him.
I don't know on those things. Is that what that says? It says I don't know on those things.
But why?
Wait, hold on, stop. This text message that's supposedly mine, I don't know if it is. What does it say? It says some members, and then it says, wait, hold on. It says I don't know. Wait, I don't know if that's my text. It says I don't know on those things. Why don't you tell that story? No.
So effectively, if this is her text message, which maybe it is, I don't know. She said that some members of Congress are calling for martial law, and then she said, I don't know about those things. That's what she doesn't know about. And Jim Acosta was trying to make a story out of her trying to bring up martial law. Was she referring to, like, her... Did she give any context to wanting martial law? Because I'm not hearing it. If she did, then show me the proof. Show me the context with which this tweet or this text was sent. Right? Maybe I don't know if she did. Maybe she did. I'm not saying one way or the other. But what Jim Acosta is not doing is giving me the context for this text. He's focusing way more on the fact that she misspelt a word and brought up martial law. But what's the context for bringing up martial law? He's not saying. Instead, he's just being a total ass.
You're saying you don't
no,
know if
you're
it's your
lying.
text, but you're being
You're a
awfully
liar.
defensive about
You know
it.
why people do not...
Now, you're being defensive. That's a Kafka trap. That's a total Kafka trap. You're getting really defensive about it, so you're guilty. No, that's not how this works. That's not at all how this works. If you have something to report, if you have a clue, a smidgen of evidence that she is out there supporting martial law, then by all means put it forward. But right now, what Jim Acosta is doing is taking a text that apparently has no context behind it at the moment, no proof that it's even actually hers, and he is trying to make a story out of it in order to make her look really bad. And instead of actually giving us context and evidence and proof of that his accusations are true, he is focusing more on the fact that she misspelled a word, if that is her text. Focusing more on that instead. He has nothing. He has absolutely nothing. And here's the funny part. He's never had anything. Dating all the way back to Trump, the only thing that he has ever had is trying to make mountains out of molehills or take stuff that is only half true and make it into a big story about how corrupt and horrible the person he's reporting on is. That's it.
Like
Why are you being so
because
defensive
you're a
about it?
liar.
I'm
Why
not
do you
a
want to
liar.
lie
Why are you being
on
so
television
defensive?
for
Why are you
our
being-
viewers?
Because
I'm not trying to lie.
No,
defend-
you're
you're
trying
gonna have to
to
defend yourself.
No, you're
about-
accusing me of something, and then when you read the actual words, it tells another story. It
Right,
tells
but
the
you're
truth.
being awfully defensive
Have a good
about
one,
a
Jim.
text that
Yeah,
recall.
when you want to be
I
honest
don't
and you
understand
actually
that.
want to talk about me as a real person and present me fairly, then I'll talk to you. But until then, I don't want to have anything to do with you.
Let me ask you this.
No, I don't
If
want
you are
to. You don't know.
subpoenaed-
We're
if you're
done.
subpoenaed to
Stop
testify by the
harassing me.
January
Stop
6th
harassing
committee,
me.
if you're
Stop
subpoenaed to
harassing me.
testify by the
I'm not
January 6th committee-
subpoenaed. Stop harassing
I know, but
me.
if you are, will you comply with that subpoena? Will you testify?
Stop harassing me.
I'm just trying to ask you some questions.
You're not. I
No,
didn't
you're
give
not,
you permission
dude.
to.
No,
Leave me
you're
alone.
not.
Can you also explain your comments about the Catholic Church? What that was
Why
about?
don't you read my statement for your viewers?
All right.
He's so desperate.
We're just trying to ask you some questions. That's all
No,
we're
you're
doing.
not,
No,
dude.
you're not. You're trying to lie about me, and I'm tired of it.
We're not trying to lie
Yes,
about
you are.
Congresswoman.
Yes.
Jim Acosta is the perfect example of a modern reporter. The perfect example. This guy wants to fake himself as a honest-to-God reporter just trying to find the truth. He's not. He's out with an agenda. He is trying to make the person he's reporting on look bad because he disagrees with her stance on something. He is an ideologically leftist extremist who is trying to pass off himself as some sort of, innocent reporter just trying to find the truth. Yet whenever he comes to confront Marjorie Taylor Greene, whatever you think about her, he has nothing but a text that he doesn't even know that she sent. No context behind this text. He was lying about the text to begin with. And he focuses on the fact that she misspelled a word on multiple occasions when trying to confront her with it. Modern day reporter. Dude, CNN is garbage. Jim Acosta is garbage. And I do not think for 5 seconds that whenever this whole merger takes place and everything is finalized, he's going to be like Brian Stelter. I don't see how he keeps his career. I don't see how he continues to be a CNN reporter because this guy is incapable of just reporting straight news. His whole entire MO is to go and try to find a person he doesn't like, someone that the left hates beyond all recognition, beyond all reasonability, and make himself the story while trying to confront them. That's pretty much his entire aim. He is the modern journalist, and I do not see how, if CNN is going in the direction that it says it's going, how this guy continues to have a career there. I don't see it. I don't care for MTG, but I'm with her on this one. Same. Same. I don't. A lot of the stuff that I've seen from MTG doesn't exactly seem good to me. But this moment right here, let's say that you're a person who, and again, I don't hate her. I don't think she's horrible. But let's say that you're a person who doesn't exactly know a lot about the news. You're not following the news a lot. And all that you've known about Marjorie Taylor Greene is what the mainstream media tells you. And you see this moment right here. Your first thought is going to be, wait, what else are they doing? What else are they lying to me about her on? What else are they doing to make her seem like a bad person when she's really not that bad? Jim Acosta is shooting himself and his side in the foot, as he always does. This guy is a glory hound posing as a reporter. He is a fictosexual to propaganda. I'm not sure about MTG. I generally don't pay much attention to her, but I found this clip and it's amazing. She nails it. And good. I'm glad. No matter what you feel about this woman, this was a massive L for Acosta to take, and thank God. Someone had to serve it to him. I don't care who it is. I don't care if Mussolini was walking down the road and Acosta started to try to go after him, and I would have been like, good on Mussolini, dude. Good on Mussolini. This guy has got to go. He's got to go. What a horrific person he is. He's a horrific reporter. I don't think that I've actually gotten any good information out of this guy in the entirety of his career. And the entirety of the time I've been following him, I don't think I've gotten... Because he's not a reporter. He's not there to report the news. He's an activist. He's an activist with a press badge. That's all he is. And it was fun watching MTG take him down. Honestly, he's happy with how that went down. He'll warp the conversation to make her look bad, even though the full footage shows him harassing her. I wouldn't doubt it. This guy is absolutely insane. He has been for a long time. I have not seen anything that makes me think that he is a person worth paying attention to. The only time I ever pay attention to him is when he gets served his. That's it. When he takes massive L's is when I actually pay attention to him. And then after, I'll be honest with you guys, after the Trump administration, I completely forgot that Jim Acosta existed. And I think that's probably his issue, and that he knows it too. That's probably his issue. He knows that without someone to hate and someone to go after, without some sort of right-wing target that he can try to accost and bother and harass, he has nothing. His name appears nowhere. He fades into obscurity. Jim Acosta is... He's B Squad. No, he's D Squad. He's D Squad. Without someone to harass, he's D Squad. People forget that he's there. Acosta would have been fawning over Mussolini based on how the media acts today. They would have been softballing. No, it's true. He would have. Maybe a bad... Yeah, because they would have fallen into the same whole authoritarian... No, birds of a feather. Birds of a feather. They flock together. That was fun to watch. Thank you, Red, for bringing that up. I really appreciate it. Guys, that's going to do it for me. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Go to redstate.com right now and check out everything that we have posted. Also, sign up for the VIP program. You can use promo code Morris on sign up for a discount. Really helps us out when you do that. I pretty much post a VIP post every single day. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube and press like on this stream if you haven't already. And I will see you guys on Monday. In the meantime, y'all have a great weekend. Much love to all of you. Peace.